But we can talk about absolutely anything that's come up to you. Where do anything of those subjects people want to latch onto? Do you want to go for something completely new? It's up to you. Talkaoke, my job in the middle is simply just to be excited and enthusiastic about whatever you talk about. We talked about, I missed out the whole kind of self-care pedicure chat at the beginning. And I think that's kind of interesting that it's just like totally above my head, over my head, because I don't understand why someone would pay 18 quid to get their toenails cut. So that's where we were for that. Come and get involved in this. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. We have got Margot, we've got Anthony, we've got Susan, we've got Anne, and we have got Sharon and my Mikey. Where do we want to go with this conversation? We're just here. We're here. It's turning into a lovely day on Dalston. Go on, Sharon. Go.
I personally think that £18 is cheap.
It's cheap
for a pedicure, and I want to know where I can get my feet done.
Okay, how do you spend?
Cheap.
How much do you spend on a pedicure?
Oh gosh, at least £25. That's just for a pedicure.
Really?
For a
wow.
good old shellac paint.
Is it worth it?
About £29-30 maybe. Sorry.
This is like probably the most shocking thing. I mean, I'm used to dealing with shocking stuff, but 25 quid.
Yeah.
For a pedicure. We're back on the pedicure. Okay, tell us your name. We know your name, but tell us your name.
My name's Elam.
Elam, welcome. No sound effects, sorry. So we're just back to the old school. But have you ever had a pedicure? We're back on the pedicure.
Yeah, I got one. When did I get one? Maybe in April. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the last one.
How much did it cost you, if you don't mind me asking?
It cost me £20.
£20?
And I think I may
Where
have
did you
left
get
the
it from?
tip.
Because Sharon's paying 25.
Oh, you know, I got it from this place just on Wells Street. Yeah, just Wells Street. So just down the road from here.
And what is the purpose of a pedicure, if you don't mind me asking?
You know what, for me, I just wanted somebody to get rid of the hard skin that was on my feet.
Okay, so it's about getting rid of a bit of hard. How did they get rid of the hard skin?
Well, they just used some kind of file thing. I mean, it
wasn't
really that hard.
Yeah.
And I just kind of thought, hey, you know, why not get it done, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have super hard skin on my feet, but...
Okay, so we've got Ellen, we've got Anthony, we've got Susan, we've got Anne, we've got Sharon, and we've got Margot and Mikey. We've got another new face over here, actually a returning face, but let's just, for the sake of the mic check and formality, tell us your name.
I'm Justin.
And again, just because I'm on a bit better level.
Justin.
And again?
My name is Justin.
Oh, that's perfect. Have you ever had a pedicure?
No, but I do kind of get the concept because doing your toenails is hard.
Okay, it is hard to do. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Especially if you're using a fingernail cut, not a toenail cut.
All right, so we're talking about pedicures, talking about beauty treatments. Margot, what's your point over here?
It was recently my birthday, and my friend asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said I want to go and have a nice massage. And so he gave me some money to put towards my massage, but I haven't booked anywhere, and I'd quite like to go somewhere.
Okay, so you've got money to spend on massage.
I don't have that much.
Will you spend it on pedicure, or will you spend it on proper?
I could get 2 pedicures at the place that you go to, Sharon, or probably half
so
of
you've got 50 quid. You've got 50 quid to spend.
But one thing that I was hearing about, I don't know if people know about it, is the Gong bath. It's not a massage, but it's some kind of deeply relaxing thing. I've heard of it, but I've never done it, but I'm intrigued.
Okay. You know what? I got invited to one last weekend, actually.
Oh,
but I just got invited. I didn't actually go. But I'm going to go to it in December. I can't wait.
Can you let me know? Can I go?
Anthony, you're looking a bit quizzical on this.
I'll let you know. I know the instructor, so I know the teacher. So
hang on. Let me come in.
I do my own.
Go, you do your own?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a gong bath? Do you know what that is?
No.
No? Okay, what is a gong bath? Can you just fill us in? Fill us in on this. What is it?
I think Elam knows better, but it's something...
It's to be a really relaxing, meditative thing where you hit gongs. Gongs is an instrument. I believe it may be from Asia, and I believe the frequency is meant to be quite relaxing, and it's meant to lift your vibrations and work with your sort of vibrations. I wanted to do it for a long time, and I got invited to it. So I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay. We're talking about looking after yourself. Do you look after yourself? Do you have a gong bath? Do you have a cold shower?
That's gong, not bong.
Different thing. Yeah.
I think cold water swimming now, isn't it?
Cold water. Have you ever done cold water?
Under no circumstances.
Under
Why
no,
would anyone want to do
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, I guess it all comes under the umbrella of looking after yourself and using vibrations to look after yourself, or hot water, or somebody sanding down your feet in Ellen's case. Go on, Margot.
I was thinking about this cold shower thing recently, and I'm thinking like similarly, no way. But then I was thinking, if I convinced myself that having that shower would actually prolong my life, then maybe I'd have to just suck it up, as opposed to then just drain the NHS when I'm older with like
hang on. So you're saying you would have a cold shower if you thought it would make you live longer?
Yeah, but then do I want to live longer? These are all these questions. How long is long? Is however. I mean.
And can I just ask, does this work if you just simply get caught in the rain like I did yesterday?
Sorry,
does that prolong my life?
I don't know. Maybe you just need to expose yourself to
We need some health experts, basically, don't we?
It's the raising of serotonin, isn't it? The cold water is supposed to raise your serotonin.
Raise your serotonin.
So make you happier.
Cold shower is good for the heart, isn't it?
Is it good for the heart? Yeah. Okay.
It is supposed to be good.
It is meant to be very therapeutic.
Okay.
And it's meant to bring all your blood vessels, you know.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna try this.
You're meant to feel so revived after it, even though tolerating that, I don't think I could tolerate that. I couldn't just, unless I dived into something cold, but
Can I ask
but you gotta be
the
careful when you
Gong
have a
thing?
Hang on, we're at a crossroads here. Do we want to go
It's
cold
a hot
showers
topic,
or
cold
gongs?
showers.
Anthony, cold showers or gongs? Where do we want to go with this conversation?
Cold shower.
Okay, cold shower. No, but you wanted to ask about the gongs, didn't you?
All I was going to say is the Gong vibration thing made me think about, because Sharon works for RNID.
Yeah.
And
What is RNID?
The Royal National Institute for the Deaf,
Right.
deafened.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
so when people can't hear but they can feel the vibrations, is that good?
Would the gong bath work for somebody that can't
With
hear?
the hearing loss.
Yeah.
I suppose that would be very good, because
Yeah.
people do feel the vibrations.
Okay, so you can still feel the vibrations if you can't necessarily hear all frequencies.
There's a percussionist, isn't there? Famous percussionist who's deaf.
Oh really?
And he
A lady, she's really successful.
Yeah.
Where's my badum sound?
What's her
When I need it.
name? What's her name? I'll Google it. I'll Google it. I'll Google it.
Get on your phone.
I think that's
get on
really
your phone.
interesting. Sort of thinking about how deaf people can respond to different sounds. I think that's quite interesting. You know, will it have the same benefits? On the point of cold showers, though, I do find, you know, I don't know if you've experienced this, but I've been in different countries where there's no hot water.
Yeah.
And then even though I'm really dreading it, I mean, it does tend to be warm countries, but then afterwards I do feel so like rejuvenated, and my skin always looks a lot better as well with the cold showers.
So it's working, but it's a bit of a.
Yeah.
Are we just like
and then
a
I get used to it, and then.
I mean, are we a little bit of a kind of what's the word where we're a little bit kind of, we don't want to do anything that's a little bit uncomfortable. Pampered. Are we a pampered nation?
But I would say my tip for cold showers is to start on the back.
Start on the back, yeah.
And then bring it back. Sometimes when I'm going swimming, what I do is I like to climatize my body for the water. So then I start on my back and I make it.
So what, do you kind of slide into the pool on your back, or slide into the sea?
I just go in the shower for like 5 minutes, and then I slowly make the water in the shower cold on towards very cold, so that when I go into the pool, you know it's it's not gonna feel so shocking.
Oh, no sound effects.
You know what? On the point
I'm so disappointed.
On the point,
I've got addicted to the sound effects. Yeah.
On the point that Margot was saying about
the computer ran out of batteries. Yeah.
Well, what Margot was saying about the length, do you want to live long? I think it's more about, you know, none of us know when we're going to die. We could die, you know, next year. However, it's about the quality of life, and maybe the cold showers will help to give you a good quality of life while you're alive, because we may not live to old age. That's how I see it now.
Okay, so quality of life we're talking about more than the actual length of time. come and join us. What is more important, quality of life or length? And would you have a cold shower every day?
You can sit here.
Come and do your shopping and bring it over here. Give us a couple of minutes. There's no time limit here, although we're talking about length versus quality here. We're here all day, and I'm not sure about the quality. Margot, you got a point?
Two minor points. One is when you said cold showers are good for the heart. I just want, anecdotally, my cousin met his current girlfriend when he was doing the jumping into cold water thing. So it was definitely good for his heart and her heart as well. But the second point I wanted to make was about the tone of voice and vibration, because I was talking to Zanaya earlier and she was saying she was talking to some guy who previously was introduced to her as being shy, and she said, maybe just something about how I am, or or my voice, or something that just makes it easier to make that connection. And I think it's true that some people have just got that kind of voice that you just want to listen to, you want to engage with, and some people maybe don't. But these people, the voice, if I don't like somebody's voice, then there will be other people who like their voice. And what's that about?
Okay, okay, go on, Anthony. What are you going to say?
When you have a cold shower, you just go in the shower like this, and you feel fresh in the morning.
Yeah. Okay. So you are a proponent of cold showers.
Sometimes, not all the time.
It depends on mood.
It can mess up your body sometimes.
And what about this question of voice? Are there people with a voice that people are drawn to, and are others that other people are not drawn to the voice? Come and have a seat on the table of chat. Are you drawn to my voice, or is it other people's voices?
She was repelled, I think.
What's that? Repelled by the
repelled.
voice. Yeah, exactly.
Some people get a lot of money, don't they, for their voices? Like,
voiceover,
whatever's sort of fashionable at the moment, like a Northern Irish actor who gets suddenly loads of, because he's been in a TV programme. Do you remember that guy a few years ago?
The hot priest from Fleabag.
Him as well. Yeah, exactly.
So I know all the ones.
Priest from Fleabag.
Okay, so certain voices are kind of attractive, certain voices are not as attractive. What is that about? And can we, this is a good moment actually, because obviously we're doing Talkaoke and we're trying to get that conversation going. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, as we've just seen. Is there anything I could do with my voice to make it more, I don't know, is it more relaxing, more kind of more, come and have a seat.
I was just talking about voices, actually.
Yeah. Are you drawn to my voice?
What's your voice like?
I don't think so. What is there anything I can do to actually make my voice more drawn to? Any thoughts on that? Maybe this is just too much of a market research and not enough of an actual conversation.
Maybe there's a link enough.
Yeah. Go on, Ellen.
Accent's interesting because I have favourite accents. Like I really love the accent from Liverpool. Welsh. The Welsh accent's really nice, as well as the Birmingham accent.
Okay.
And a lot of people really dislike the Birmingham accent, but it's, depends on. We all Birmingham.
Yeah, we've all got our own kind of our own. Yeah.
Apparently, the most friendliest voice is the Welsh voice. Like everyone. It apparently was voted, the UK's most friendliest voice.
For UK's most friendliest voice, not the estuary voice.
I thought it was the Scottish.
Yeah, I mean,
was the friendliest.
I mean, everyone's.
Liverpudlians are.
Come and have a seat. Are you drawn to my voice? That's what we're talking about at the moment. It's a bit too. It's like probably the most egotistical conversation we've ever had on Talkaoke. But what kind of accents do people like? Let's go around the table on this one. Go on, Anthony. What was it?
Irish.
I like the Irish.
Irish voice. Okay. Susan, have you got a favourite accent? Irish. Okay. Justin, have you got a favourite accent?
I like South African accents, actually.
That's probably like the one accent I could do. South African.
Can you do that? Can you do it now?
No. Go. I can't do it. I'm not going to try anything because I'm going to end up offending people. What accents do you like? That's what we're talking about at the moment. Margot?
I know somebody who's Italian, and we were just having a conversation, and she's an actress as well. And she was saying, I'm just fed up going. It was, I'm not going to do her voice, but her voice is like quite high pitched and a bit like whiny. And she said, I'm just fed up with this. People just like switch off when I talk to them because of my accent.
So
I just can't talk.
Sorry, I just missed that.
Did you just switch off?
Okay, so some people have got the opposite. They've got a voice that people don't.
Yeah, but she said that she was being discriminated because people just didn't like her accent, so they didn't want to engage with her.
And what was that, an Italian accent?
Italian accent, yeah.
Okay, so the voice is very important, and people can just switch off if you don't have that compelling voice. We've got a couple of new faces to the table, so we've got Ellen, we've got Justin, we've got Anthony. Let's get some names over here. What's your names? What's your name? Edward, and who have we got over here?
Chris.
Edward and Chris. Sharon, are you off?
Let's get some food.
Well, give us some intermediate final thought.
Okay. Well, my intermediate. Well, I think it's very important to have a clear voice, especially when you're talking to someone who has a hearing impairment.
Right.
And I find I hate my voice, but I'm quite easily understood, I suppose, because I work with a lot of people with hearing loss. Okay. And I just think that that's really important.
Okay.
I mean, enunciate yourself.
How do you sort of like improve the clarity of your voice?
Just to probably not speak too fast or too slow, just not too loud, and just enunciate words instead.
Hang on a sec, Ellen, because we've got Justin. We've got Justin. Thank you, Sharon. But Justin, you come in, and then Ellen, I'll come straight to you.
Sharon, I think you have a commanding, decisive voice. Why do you say you hate your voice?
Oh my God! Yeah, I like now I can hear my voice, but I don't like that.
We have to say, I think both Justin and I are enjoying your voice.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Why do you say you hate it? I don't understand that.
I think most people do hate the sound of their voice.
Do people hate the sound of their own voice?
So.
I think it's strange to hear your voice, but that's not a reason to hate it.
Okay, that's an interesting. Most people not like the sound?
I don't. I hate. If I hear a recording of my voice, it's very off-putting.
Because it's strange to you, because it doesn't sound like you. You sound like a strange person, but just embrace that.
Do you like the sound of your voice, Justin?
It's strange, yeah, it is strange, but I'm not going to hate it because it's strange.
Okay, so you...
Am I weird then?
I don't...
I don't think you are.
I think unique is a better way of putting it.
Interesting.
Margot.
I've got a theory about hearing my own voice. Is that the moment when it really grates on me is when I hear it and I'm like, was I sincere when I was talking?
So you're worried about how sincere you
because
sound.
I think the voice can tell 100% whether you're nervous, whether you're insincere, whether you know what you're talking about or not talking about, or whether you fancy someone.
Okay. Go on, Ellen. Back to you. Sorry.
I just got a question actually. Has the way you speak, has it changed over the years? Have you had to speak? Have you sort of has the speed?
Has it evolved?
Yeah, thanks.
Has your voice evolved?
Definitely. With over time, obviously I'm older, so my voice was probably a bit more younger sounding. Yeah.
But do you prefer it now? Do you prefer it then?
I don't have any
preference. Yeah, okay.
I just don't like the sound of my voice.
I want to come back to you anyway, Ellen, because I want to know if your voice. Do you feel that your voice has evolved?
I was going to say actually, yes, it has evolved because before, where I used to just speak, mainly in East London, and had a lot of people, friends from East London, my voice was a lot faster, and I had a thicker accent. However, now sometimes people they tell me they don't know where they can't work out where I'm from. It's as if my voice I've had to slow down the way I speak quite a lot over the years.
Do you think that's from doing Talkaoke a little bit?
Talkaoke has contributed.
Okay.
I think Talkaoke has made my voice a bit more enthusiastic sounding.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. This is Talkaoke.
Hello to your mum.
Hello to mum. And at the moment we're talking about voices and what that means. You're saying, Margot, that conveys a lot. The voice. Were you going to jump in there, Justin?
Sharon, I'm still intrigued. I'm intrigued by this, your self-perception and that. If I say that I find your voice commanding and decisive, and it's other people that hear you and are able to say this to you objectively, and if people say to you, and I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, that we find that about your voice, surely you need to question your own self-perception, don't you? Because it's us that hear your voice, not you.
Yeah.
And if we say we don't hate your voice the way that you say you do, then you should surely, doesn't that cause you to question yourself and your own self-perception?
Oops, sorry.
Well, now that you've mentioned it, maybe now, I don't know.
Has Justin got a point?
He probably has, but you just feel how you feel.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
But you're being subjective in your feeling.
But I mean, can you be objective
Yeah.
about something like how much you like a voice? Are you being objective when you say you've got a commanding? What do you say? A clear and commanding voice? Is that an objective observation, or is it a subjective observation?
That was my observation of Sharon, and I think that I'm able to be, inert. I mean, I'm hearing you as, an outsider.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that.
Well, let's ask some other people. Anthony, what do you think about Sharon's voice? Yeah. Yeah, nice and clearly. Okay. I mean, do you feel the same?
Happy voice.
Do you have the same worry about your voice, Anthony?
I can speak 2 tongues, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, so you can do a lot of talking, but are you ever concerned about what your voice is like?
Not really. I think it's fine.
Okay. And what about Chris? Chris, what do you think of your voice? Do you worry about how you sound?
No.
No? Do you think you've got a clear and commanding voice? Get that mic a bit closer so we can get you on the record. Yes. Go on.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, if I talk to you, you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, so it's just more about information. But doesn't the voice convey some kind of quality? Something about, Margot saying it conveys your emotions. Are you nervous? Are you kind of warm?
I've never nervous. I've never been nervous in my life. I have confidence in whatever I do.
You've never been nervous in your... How do you get like that? That's... Okay.
That's how I am. That's
how you are.
Maybe because of I'm a military man.
You're a military man?
Yes.
And you think being in the military stops you from being nervous?
You give more confidence in yourself. You see a lot.
Yeah.
When you're in the military, you see a lot.
Okay, so it's that experience.
So you experience.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of anything.
Okay, so it's about a lack of fear in a way.
Yeah, people get nervous because they don't know who is there. I don't care who are you are there or not.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about anybody who you are or you are not. We all belong to the same God. Once you believe in God, that's it.
Okay, so that's a really interesting point. So actually that nervousness is about kind of fear, and if you've been in a fearful situation and come through it, then you've got less fear and you're less nervous. I wonder if that comes across in the voice. Have you ever been in a fearful situation, and do you think some of that is...
I went out with a friend sometimes. We happened to meet somebody who happened to be, let me say, a minister.
Say again?
Like we come to meet somebody who is a minister.
Yeah.
And my friends start shaking, who is a minister.
Yeah.
I say, shut up. If he's a minister, it's not the same thing. They say, I never expected to meet him here. I said, that is life. You never expect to meet him here, that is life. You don't expect to meet anybody anywhere.
When you say a minister, are you talking about like a minister of the church or a minister of government?
Government. Minister of government.
A minister of government, okay. Yeah.
And he's shaking, I never expected to meet such a man. I said, don't be worried about who you meet anywhere.
Okay, so you can meet anyone, you can talk to anyone.
Yes.
Come and have a seat, Edward. Come and get back involved in this. We're talking about, in a way, nervousness and fear. So this is, don't be scared of this. We're talking about and it came from this idea of the voice that, like, Chris just has no fear because of the experiences he's had, and that comes across in his voice, and he can talk to anyone. You were going to say something, Ellen. Go on.
I have found that people who have been in the army, the military, they are less fearful of the smaller things. And I think it's because when you have been so close to death, you know, whether or not you were flying the planes or working in the hospital, and you, whether or not you were on the front line or not, just being in the army alone, I think it does probably gives you a sense of death or whatever.
Yeah, so it's actually about death.
So the little things like my voice not sounding good, I think it probably doesn't really bother them because...
Do you think you could have a stint in the army to actually...
You know what, I always thought maybe I could have done the sort of army cadets, you know, when I was a child, but as an adult, no.
No, okay. Margot, did you have a point over there?
And there was and the show was about kind of like army cadets, but for German kids before Second World War in America, because apparently a lot of Germans moved to America after First World War, and they were kind of training there, like the children were almost like led to believe it's like a bonding thing. It's you know, the guardians, they didn't really mind if kids kind of came back home like a bit late because they're getting social with their friends, you know, and that kind of stuff. But then they kind of realised throughout that they were just kind of trained to be a good, you know, to serve in the military and then go and fight in mainland Europe during Second World War.
Right.
So it just
so
kind
what, I mean, what you're saying is that you're training people to kill, and that's maybe not a good thing, or...
Yeah, but when they were, like, these children kind of like, you know, just getting fit and just like doing orienteering and stuff. These are very, very good skills, and I just thought in that context of that play, it was just a shame that all of that was used.
There was
to
a
train
sinister
them,
underside
to go and get them to kill other people. But
okay. Okay. Anthony, just grab the mic because what I didn't hear.
Sometimes I use my voice to defend myself.
Okay, so you can actually use your voice as a kind of method of self. What do you think about this question about the army and all of that kind of stuff?
Well, they got more top voice because they really shout, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So it is related to the voice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're a military man, yeah?
Yeah, he's a military man. Yeah, absolutely.
So you do a lot of shouting. Was you a sergeant or just normal? You was a captain, so you was doing a lot of shouting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to come back to that in a second because I think it is an interesting story that you've got to tell. But Justin, you wanted to come in, didn't you?
Yeah, just picking up on what you were saying, Margot, about how it's character building and you learn these team skills and so on, only to then use them in a way that's destructive and but I mean I was in the Cubs when I was little, and I think that's good because you're learning these skills, these team skills for communal living and building tents and building houses and so on. That's all positive. But coming back to you, Chris, what you were saying about certain things you've seen and how this has helped to build your confidence, so on. But surely it rather depends on what you see, because I've talked to several people that have served in conflict zones, and the experiences can vary. I mean, you can have a sort of reasonably good tour where you don't really encounter too much, and then you can have a terrible experience that's traumatic experience that's going to affect you lifelong. Doesn't it depend on certain your experience, really?
The thing is, it depends on individuals. There are some, they've been in the military for years, they didn't go to the war front. There are some recruits, they finish today, maybe tomorrow they are sent to the war front. The experience of that recruit will be more different from the one who haven't been there. But see, some commanders, they are just there, ask you to go to the war front. They stay behind, ask you to go. Few commanders follow you to the war front.
Okay, so in a way, the higher up you are, the less traumatic it is because you're just sending other people in.
Yes,
Yeah.
That's right. So for instance, when I was in the military, there was a civil war in my country.
Yeah.
I followed my troops to the war fronts.
Yeah. And what country was that?
Nigeria.
In Nigeria, okay. Yeah.
We're talking about in the 60s.
Yeah.
You see, so many things happen that we just pray to God that you are alive today.
Yeah.
And God keep you alive. That's it. It is very, very important. Otherwise, you experience that thing. Don't pray to experience war in your life.
Yeah.
Then I never ever pray that there should be war in any country.
War is a very bad thing.
It's a very bad thing.
Edward, just grab the mic. What are you saying?
No, just saying about what he is saying. That war is never the answer to anything.
Yeah.
No. See, the people who make these wars, people who make these wars, don't fight them.
Yeah. Okay, so the people actually, I mean, it's kind of like a bit higher up. The people actually starting the war are not the ones who have to suffer, the ones who get the trauma.
The people who made the war don't fight the war.
Okay.
See, it's up to the lower ranked officers to go there and do
but I mean, what about one of the things that Chris is saying is that he learnt to, in a way, have no fear from the war. So there was a positive side to it.
It does give you more confidence in life.
Yeah.
More confidence in life that you could approach any task, really.
Yeah. Okay, what are you saying here?
Yes. Because
what's this conversation over here? We're talking about the...
We're talking about the military problem with the war.
Yeah.
Who was talking about the problem with the war?
Yeah.
Like... who caused everything?
Yeah.
Like
He's talking about in the Nigerian civil war.
Any war.
Yeah.
Not any war.
Any war.
So they're saying, he was saying Americans and the British.
Yeah.
And it could be the French as well.
Yeah. Those three are the three troublemakers in the world.
They make trouble in this world. You know what I mean?
So there are countries out there that are actually...
They're the one make propaganda.
Okay, making wars. Okay, so Americans, British, French.
And to test their weapons and all that.
The three troublemakers of the world, the Americans, then the British will follow suit, so will the French. Those three countries are the three countries in the whole world that turn the whole world to what it is at the moment.
Right, okay.
So, those three countries, others follow reluctantly.
Okay, all right. Justin, you got a point over here?
Yes, but war really is changing as we're sitting here. Wars are not really fought by men in uniforms anymore. They're fought by geeks sitting in computer suites in Russia interfering with our elections. That's now more destructive than anything.
That's another thing, You're right.
It's technology, isn't it?
Okay, so I mean, is that a good thing? Does it mean, in a way, is that good that it's not people getting, in traumatic experiences?
You see, the problem with the world now is that if America, Britain and France leave other countries to solve their own problems.
Right.
Leave other countries to live their lives the way they want to live it. Everybody will be happy.
But come and have a seat over here. We have got Justin, we've got Anthony, we've got Chris, we've got Edward. I'm Mikey, we've got Elam over here. At the moment we're talking about war. And we're talking about who's really starting the wars.
You see, we all cannot be British. We all cannot be Americans. We all cannot be French. If they can leave other countries to live their lives the way they want to live it, the world will be happy.
So it's actually these countries interfering that starts the movement.
That is it. That is the problem. That's the problem.
Okay. Chris, you want to jump in there?
This country has caused a lot of problem all over the world.
You talking about UK?
Yes.
The UK.
Yeah.
Because Anywhere you go to Canada, they were there. America, they were there. There's no country they have not been. They stole a gold bronze from my old town.
Yeah.
In Nigeria. Nigeria are begging them to give them back to them. They refused up to now.
What town is that?
From Benin City.
Benin.
What is it?
Benin, Nigeria.
A bronze figure.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, in those days.
I have it. Even when they are begging them, I have it in my.
Here's the man.
They are begging them to do.
Okay. Looks like.
And then see, so if you can do this, you see, slavery. We are talking blah everywhere. Slavery was a very, 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 very bad thing.
Yeah.
People don't talk about it.
I mean,
and it is not fair.
We were talking about this earlier on, funnily enough, in the previous session, and is the legacy of slavery still affecting our society today? Was one of the big questions that we were talked about in the previous thing. But we've got a new face on the table, so we've got Chris, we've got Anthony, we've got Justin. Tell us your name over here, or your names, because there's two of you. Have a seat as well. And we've got Margot over here as well, back on the table. At the moment we're talking about war, because Chris has been involved in a war. He said, he's actually talking about it in a way as a good thing, that it meant that he's got a lack of fear. But obviously war is a very bad thing. Edward was saying as well, I think, that war is a bad thing. And the other side of it was that, come and get involved in this, we're talking about war. Come and have a seat on the table of chat. You're all welcome.
Oh, really?
2 minutes, give us 2 minutes. 2 minutes, don't worry. I'll write a letter to the teacher.
School can't teach you what you can learn
uniform
from.
there.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like you're. Oh wow, is that how people dress to go to school now?
They're sixth formers.
Oh, they're sixth formers.
Anyway, let's get some names.
Is school teaching you life?
So we got Margot, we got Zanaya. What's your names over here on this table? Just give us a shout on who we got over here. What's your name? Yep. And let me just turn you up a little bit. I'm doing a mic check as well. So go on. What's it? Harlan. And what's your name over here? Douglas. Okay, welcome. We're talking about war at the moment. We're talking about basically Edward's gone now. I think he's gone to get some salt and pepper. But he was basically saying that it's the British and the Americans, possibly the French, that are the causes of all the wars, interfering in other people's countries. And that's really where we're going with this. But there's also a little, what else we were talking about? It's a little bit about the legacy of slavery and imperialism. That's what you were saying, wasn't it, Chris? That's actually we're dealing with that still. Have you got a point over?
I just have a question to Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, I'm just interested about in your view about overthrowing the statues, because you know how people started doing this recently, and I just wondered whether that is, what do you think of it? So recently people started overthrowing statues of people who were involved in slavery and slave trade in Britain. So I think there was a statue in Bristol, Colston.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, the statue of Colston in Bristol. Yeah,
right, yeah,
was torn down and thrown in the dock.
Yeah, because even though he's done a lot of good things or he shared the profit and set up some charities and stuff, did things for community, he was nonetheless a slave trader. So people took down his statue, and I just wondered, what do you think of that?
To me, what have been done. You cannot turn the clock back.
Yeah, you can't bring it. You can't change history in a way.
You cannot change history.
But what do you think about the act of throwing the statue into the river?
It's symbolic, isn't it?
Yeah. They should have done it a long time ago. Okay.
Not now. They would have done it. It would have been done a long time ago.
Okay, so it probably would have had more effect if it was done longer.
Yes.
Harlem, were you?
I was saying it's symbolic for a change in the consensus idea on these people, but it doesn't actually change the way we teach history, or it's probably not going to have the full lasting effect that the people committing it want. but it's symbol.
It is a symbol. It's a positive symbol as far as you're concerned.
But I mean, it's a symbol. Like the symbolism of it is positive for some people, and it's a whole different thing for other people.
Okay, so it's negative for other people. I'm going to read into that.
Yeah, because like they don't see what the like some people just see it as, oh yeah, this is great, this is a change. Yeah. And they're thinking, oh, this will lead to people teaching history differently with more accurate context, less bias. And then there's other people that just only see it as defacing, the historical figures that they've learned are great or whatever. Like it's the symbolism of it has good and bad. Yeah. If it leads to what people want.
And what do you think? Do you think it will lead to a change in the way history is taught?
I don't know. I don't want to be pessimistic. I kind of think no.
Probably not. Okay.
It's still going on today.
Okay, Anthony, grab the mic, and then I'm going to come to you.
I said it's still going on today.
Yeah. So you don't think the stone, the statue?
But some people don't recognise it.
Okay.
You understand me?
Yeah,
because, the way certain people move and talk to you and look at you. And
right. Okay. So there's just a vibe of I'm going to call it racism going on here, or the legacy of slavery.
It's still going on.
It's still going on.
It's like a film of prejudice that people communicate through. That they can't. They've gotten rid of the overt stuff, but it's like all the communications are still coming through this film of prejudice, where it's like, oh, you're an other.
Can you give us an example of that?
Other. Well, I mean, let me think of something from today. I guess just the way, it can be the way people look at you and assume things about you, and the way they're surprised if they find. See the way I speak. Sometimes people will be shocked just by the way I speak, because it's not as it's not illiterate enough for what they expected. Like there's this film of
I mean, you're talking about. Let me give an example from today. So you're saying that this is happening on a daily basis.
But it's just like. That exists in every person, every group.
I could say so. When you go in a shop, certain shops, they look at you first. Why?
Or they'll follow you.
Why?
Okay. One man will come out from the back and follow you around.
Okay, so people, what, security guard, the shop assistant?
Security guard, anyone.
Just any staff there. It
doesn't make sense. You understand me?
Let's open this out to other people. I'm going to come to you in a second, Ellen, but Justin, you've had your hand up for a while.
No, just going back to the statue and learning about history, that truly was a remarkable history lesson. One day before that statue was torn down, the vast majority of people in the UK had never heard of Edward Colston, or could not tell you who he was or what he'd done. That act caused everyone to learn something about history and to know the name of Edward Colston. That's quite remarkable, isn't it?
Okay, so it is a positive thing. Okay, Ellen, you've been wanting to talk for a while, so come on.
And I think it was a great conversation. It was a great, a lot of people, it led to, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I think the cold weather has stopped me from being able to speak. It sparked a lot of conversations, and I think through talking, conversations, it can help to educate people. But on the point of what you were saying about, just like everyday racism, on TikTok, I saw a TikTok where somebody filmed themselves taking the receipt at the self-checkout point, and they were like, oh yes, I better not forget my receipt, I'm black, and then everyone in the comments was like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one that thought that, I better not take a receipt because I'm black, because, and it is true, if you don't take a receipt, you don't want to be accused of racism, or you don't want to be accused of stealing stuff, because even though I have not been accused of stealing things, unfortunately the history of the racism, all the stories of black people being followed, I've been followed around the shop before, and and I have been just made to feel very uncomfortable in regards to my receipts before, and so that does exist, that viewpoint does exist about you being black and stealing, so you always remember to take your receipt, and it's just little things like that,
I mean, welcome to the conversation. I'm going to say Edward, because we've got a new face over here. So we've got Harlem, we've got Douglas, we've got Ellen, Justin, Anthony, Chris, and Edward, and I'm Mikey. At the moment, we're sort of talking about racism. We're talking about the statue that got pulled down in Bristol. Is that going to lead to a change in history? The way history is taught, is that going to actually change anything? And what about the experience of everyday racism that a lot of black people are talking about? And in a shop, you get followed, or you get people are suspicious, all sorts of stuff. That's what we're talking about at the moment. Go on, Anthony. Yeah, go on.
Can I say something? What do you think about it?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I personally think, we've got a long way to go. I think
Why is it a long way to go?
Because I guess because
it's 20th century, man.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, listen to all the experiences we're hearing here.
We're not the haters,
Some things are internalized, though.
Yeah.
We're not the haters.
Yeah.
We're not the haters. We are loving people. You understand? But there's a people just trying to be against us for no reason at all.
Yeah.
You understand me?
Absolutely.
So why?
Let me just bring in Edward here. Go on.
Some years ago,
Yeah.
I live in Islington.
Yeah.
Some years ago, I went to shop at my local shop, Tesco's.
Yeah.
By Islington Green there.
Yeah.
Some years ago, and after buying what I wanted from there, I didn't realize that the security officer was still following me. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I walked out because I couldn't find what I wanted.
Yeah.
It just me as if
There you go.
I saw something. I said, "Oh, what do you want?" He said, "I saw you pick something up. I was looking for you." I said, "What did I pick up?" I said,
Can you stop tripping over the mic?
and then he went on to accuse me of stealing something. I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
you want to search me and my bag, please?"
Yeah.
And then he did. He found nothing on my bag, in my bag or anything like that. And then the shop eventually wrote me a letter to apologize. They sent me free shopping vouchers.
Right.
To go and shop free for about a month or so. But that wouldn't have, you see, I didn't know what to do, whether to sue them or do something else, but I didn't. But because I was not a young man, I'm not a young man, I said, okay, I said to forget about it. So these things happen every day. It's been happening for a long time, and I don't think it ever stops.
Is it getting better? No.
I don't think so.
No.
It's getting worse.
Just less overt.
It's actually getting worse.
Doesn't get less internalized.
Douglas, did you want to say something? Did you want to come in on this one? So we're talking about everyday racism. It doesn't. I mean, if it's not getting worse, you mentioned before, Anthony, it's 2021, and I would have thought, I guess, I would have thought by now we would have sorted this out. But it seems like the problem isn't actually improving.
You see, when I first came in this country, in the late 60s, the racism we suffered here was unbelievable.
Yeah, same thing.
Everybody thinks that you've got tails. You have to where's your tail?
Yeah.
And we took it as a joke in those days. You see? So, because in those days, there was nowhere to go to. Nobody to go to in those days. Things have improved now because you can go to these people, you can go to complain. In those days, you can't complain to anybody. You're your own.
But I mean, it's improved to a point, but it seems like we've just got to a point where it's just stopped improving and it's just now getting worse, actually, according to Anthony.
That's it.
So, how come it's stopped, and where do we go from here? What can be done? Ellen, you've got a point. I'll come to you, Justin. Yeah.
I think things are definitely improving. I think last year it forced people to become aware of how racism is in every part of society. I remember doing a Talkaoke with some art curators, and a lot of them were so shocked that there was so much racism within the art curation world, and for me, I'm like, I mean, it's everywhere, but they were so surprised that it was within that world as well. And I think before last year, I don't think that many of those people would have even understood that it was an issue, but I think now more people are willing
starting to look into
people
it.
are starting to look into it, but
Okay, Justin.
Yeah, I would say, I don't know from personal experience, but it seems to me that you're saying it's getting worse. I think it's because you want it to improve faster than it. I think it is improving. It's not improving as fast as you want it to improve, but it is improving.
I think it's improving because when I first came, racism was like a banter.
Yeah.
A banter.
It was just like casual racism.
Black bastard, black this.
Yeah.
We just reply by you, white honky and things like that. It's like a banter in those days.
Yeah.
But now it's been looked upon now as a crime.
It's like very it's overt and covert.
So
So
the improvement is there in a way.
Yeah. Let me just, because we've got a couple of new faces over here, so let me just quickly go around. We've got is it Harlan?
Harlan, yeah.
Harlan, Douglas, Ellum, Justin, Anthony, Chris. We didn't get your name.
I'm just
anonymous at the moment, and we've got Edward, and we've got, just tell us your name. I know you've been on already, but just for a mic check as well.
Yes.
What's your name? Des. Okay. Yeah. What and when?
Wendy.
Yeah. What were you gonna? There's a point over here though, wasn't there?
I was saying that it's offensive.
Yeah.
I find it offensive.
I mean, what is there anything that can be done about it, or is it?
The thing is, everybody talks about education, but I believe it's like somebody once said, racism is learnt. Mm-hmm. It's a learnt behavior. Mm-hmm. So we have to start teaching our children in your homes and in schools that we all are this, with maybe different colors.
Yeah.
But here what? We have the same amount of bones and stuff like that. Some time ago, last year, I was on a bus, and I was sitting. I always sit in the. I may not look my age, but I always sit in the side where they say for older people or whatever.
Yeah.
And this white gentleman got on the bus and said to me, "You need to get up because I'm disabled."
Yeah.
So I got up because I'm quite polite, and he sat down, and I said to him, "I was brought up to respect my elders, and obviously you're older than I am. So not because I don't look disabled means that I'm not disabled."
Yeah.
And he just sat there, and my friend said, "Yes, she's disabled. She has mental problems." But that was the funny part of it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, there were other white people sitting on the other side.
Yeah.
And he did not approach them.
Right.
Okay, you see what I'm saying?
I mean, we've heard before. I don't know if you picked up on it.
No,
but
we were having lunch.
Okay, we heard about everyday racism that black people are getting on a daily basis, and it is things like being followed in a shop, being accused of shoplifting. Ellum talks about always having to get a receipt at the self-service, just so you've got backup if you get stopped, that you have to do. So we're talking about this experience of everyday racism.
And it's something that's learned. It's learned.
But
it is learned.
I mean,
you see, I'll tell you something that
it's learned.
Racism can never be eradicated. They are wasting their time. It can never be stopped.
Yeah.
You know why?
Behavior.
Why?
Every society has got the racism. Even in their parliament,
yeah,
they have racism in there. In their parliament, they have racism.
Yeah.
You look, they are actually selective.
Yeah.
On who says what or who does what.
Yeah.
On account of your color. Even in their own parliament itself, those who are our lawmakers, there is racism.
I mean, do you think it...
so it's no use, we're talking about this here, you're talking about this there, it can never be stopped.
Okay.
Never.
Ellum, you've been wanting to talk for a long time.
Just a quick point. I mean, I think the reason why I feel like sometimes we feel that change isn't happening quick enough is because when you look at the timeline of slavery when it started, slavery lasted for centuries, and when did it end? 1800 and something. And when you look at the timeline, you realize that it actually wasn't that long ago, and we were in it for hundreds and hundreds of years.
And it's designed to last longer than
all of that, it's quite depressing timeline to look at because you really realise how recent it is.
Everyone here seems to say we need to be going a bit faster. I mean, do we really need to be that patient?
I think people just don't need to understand some of the core issues more, like the fact she said it's a learned behaviour is very important. It's learned through, I guess,
society.
It's learned in schooling.
Yeah.
You know, how much of your history do you like? As a black person growing up in Britain, you don't have a timeline of your lineage. Yeah. You have a gap, then slavery, then civil rights, then modern days. That's the history you learn. You don't have a full timeline. So that's just, you know, people in Britain just not generally being educated on the fullness. That's just one part of it.
I'm struggling to say, let's take that history and that sense of like identity as a black person. Yeah. How does that key into being followed out of a shop?
Well, it goes into the idea and the attitude that people of African descent are, you know, they come from nothing. They're not developed. They come from nothing. They have no history. They have no, you know.
So in a way,
it's this idea that they are lesser.
That person, I'm not going to say co-op, but we are next to co-op. Well, that person in the supermarket is thinking.
Well, it's just one part of the factors that go into creating this idea that some people are lesser. Yeah. Basically, if you know that you've got 1,000-year lineage, you can go visit castles, yada yada. You believe that you've come from something, whereas if you don't, you feel as if there was no start. In fact, there are even some people who believe that by enslaving Africans, Europeans have helped them because they weren't as developed before. Right. It's that far gone that some people actually believe that. Whereas it's like,
and that does translate into day-to-day behaviour and how people.
I don't think that's the only thing. It's more like the schooling, the media obviously reinforces the idea of black people just being certain things, specific things. You know, like, you know, the criminal or the slave. It's usually the crime movie or the slave movie if we're talking about black movies. I mean, here there isn't really much space in the media there isn't much space for black media. Historically, there's only been 10 black TV shows ever in Britain, just ever.
So actually, it's not just about the history; it's also about the current culture, the media.
It's just about things that have been internalized over time. That now it's at the point where it takes a big overhaul for things to be questioned. Like, it feels like we're at a point now where the individual has to almost go totally in the other direction and be, you know, overly supportive and almost black supremacist just to get their mind state out of the Eurocentric mind state.
Drag it away.
Yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but you know, and that's why you get countercultures who start to hate the idea of people being proud of blackness because they don't understand the context requires so much of an offshoot from what's normal thinking. You know, like if someone was to say, is it good to be proud of your race? People would majority say, yeah, if you're black. If someone was white and they said, I'm proud to be white, it sounds controversial, right? Yeah. Because we have to be so off of the current thinking to even you know talk about it.
That's
properly.
a good point, actually. I mean, Margaret, you've got your hand up for ages. Are you proud to be white?
It sounds controversial to say it, right? Yeah. But I'm allowed to say I'm proud to be black.
But you know what? I was born in Poland, so the conversation about race just wasn't happening. Yeah. I didn't grow up. I didn't grow up around that. So to me, this is like kind of stepping into it and suddenly understanding I've got white privilege. I was just like shocked because my life experience of the UK was like, oh, you speak a bit funny. Oh, where are you from? Oh, you're a cleaner. I said, no, I'm studying. Oh, really? Oh, that's so nice. Our plumber's Polish. You know, and it's like that kind of stuff. And I like the point that you made about like there's some things like I think you might call it a vibe, but it's like sometimes you know there's like a conversation happening like above your head you're not part of, and people can be like really nice and polite, and I think British people did very well, but which is also why I love this country, is because people can be civil with each other. But my point is different. Actually there's 2 points. One is there's this Slovenian philosopher that I like to listen to, and he was making a point. I was watching a video yesterday and he said he was talking about racism and colonialism. And he said that apparently in apartheid time in South Africa, some of the argumentation for why apartheid is a good thing was that, and it's in documents and stuff, you can look it up, apparently people were saying like, oh, but indigenous people, they just have such a rich culture. Their culture is so beautiful. They don't start a meeting without calling all these spirits and stuff. Isn't that wonderful? We want to protect that. That's why we're doing apartheid.
It's about protecting.
Yeah.
Indigenous
which
culture.
is like patronising, but it's interesting that was used as like, your culture is so great. As an argument to divide further. And my second point is, what do people think? Have people seen the new Bond? I haven't, but I know that there's some kind of suggestion that female black character is nominated to be 007.
Okay.
So what do people think about that?
A female black James Bond or
James? Say something?
Yeah, you're shaking your head, Douglas. You've not said anything yet, so come in and get involved in this.
This is interesting because it's like an older perspective. A young person, like someone my age, is probably expected to say yes, that's great, that's progressive, but it takes away from the whole point that the character, like there's just not enough of those characters anyway. So that's why people are so wanting this to happen. You know what I mean?
Can I say something?
Just say something?
Hang on, everyone wants to talk here, but we've got a new. Before we do that, we've got a new face to say. Would you just tell us your name very quickly?
Hello everyone, I'm Jeanette.
Jeanette, welcome.
I just wanted to say.
I'm going to go to Wendy first because
I grew up in Trinidad and went to college in Trinidad, and we studied European history, not black history.
Yeah.
This was an all-girl college. We studied European history, and we learned about Christopher Columbus discovering the West Indies.
Yeah.
Christopher Columbus never discovered the West Indies because, like the American Indians, there were indigenous Indians. Native Indians in the West Indies, the Caribs and the Indians. So Christopher Columbus never discovered the West Indies.
So it was actually false history.
Exactly. But that's what we were taught, and unless you yourself are mindful of what you're reading and look to what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word.
So in a way you've got to, it's not just about what history you're getting, but your stance to that, and you've got to go, hang on a second, is what they're saying actually true?
And there's some people that would believe it, and you have to make your own not decisions, research. You have to do your own research and think, here what? There were people here before he came. But because we were the indigenous people and Christopher Columbus came and did all these things, and we were supposed to be savages, he was the one that came in and found us and did all these wonderful things when we were there before doing our own wonderful things in our own way.
Okay, so that's an actual false. Hang on a sec, Edward, I'm going to come to you in a second, but we've got a few new faces. I just want to, tell us your name again? Rosa. And over here, what's your name? Chet. Okay, Edward.
Now, you see all this thing about a new James Bond is going to be black or white or whatever it is, a woman. It's a way of just trying to tell that doesn't really mean that racism has stopped.
No.
It doesn't mean it is meaningless. You see, making one or two people this or that, being put in a position of power, one or two people there, changes nothing.
But would it
that's the racism we see remain.
But it will not imply
you cannot force me to like you. I cannot force you to like me. It's up to every individual to change and like who they want to like. You see, all this thing about it's all fake. Saying that racism is being fought here and there, it's impossible.
Okay, so
it's up to every individual what they want to do. How do they feel against each other?
So having a black woman killing people in the interests of the British state won't necessarily defeat racism.
I think because we were all colonized. Sorry. I'm going to say this one last point because we're going to go. We were all colonized at one point or another by the English, the French, and the Spanish. We were all colonized, and because we were supposed to be natives, they all brought whatever they brought in and thought they were doing us all good. And if we are honest with ourselves, in our own countries that we come from, there's racism. In our own countries, within the black race, there's racism. But here, living in England, you see it, you hear it, and you feel it. Because you live it.
Okay, so it's a different experience here. I've lost the sound effects, but I'm going to come to you in a second, Harlan, and I want some points from those people that have not said anything yet. But Justin, you've had your hand up for a while, so do you want to come in?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, Harlan, in response to what you were saying about history and being proud and so on, it really rather depends, doesn't it, how far you go back in history. If you take it all the way back, evolution began in the if the science is to be believed, and I do believe it, in the African Rift Valley. Therefore, we are all Africans, are we not? And what Wendy was saying about there were Native Americans when Columbus arrived, well, yes, they came originally out of Africa, across Europe, across Russia, across the Bering Straits, into the Americas. But anyway, coming back to the James Bond thing, if you watch, I think we've already seen a black woman as James Bond, because if you watch Skyfall, at the start of that film, a black woman, Naomi Harris, James Bond's in serious trouble. She drives up in a Jeep and gets him out of a situation in which he could lose his life. She saved his life. Then we see her with a sniper's rifle. She's obviously got a license to kill, and she's taking instruction from Judi Dench, which is James Bond's boss. They're taking instruction from the same person. As far as I'm concerned, Naomi Harris was James Bond.
Like a colleague of James Bond.
Yeah, they were on a par.
Something else, 005.
She was James Bond,
All right, but does it solve the problem, or does it actually change anything? I'm going to come to you in a second, Margot. I feel like Harlan, you want to say, Jeanette, have you got any views on this as well? Come in when you want to. Yeah. Harlan, go on.
What do you want me to answer that question?
No, just whatever you're thinking. Tell us what you're thinking. I mean, it's kind of Talkaoke goes wherever you want to take it, really.
I feel like the whole with the James Bond thing, it's a similar thing to like a lot of stuff you see nowadays, where it's like companies in their best interest to seem inclusive, and this seems like one of those things, and it creates the counterculture of people only seeing it as that, like as an attempt of inclusivity. I think there should just be more black British media, that's the real thing.
So just more things that are actually from black people.
Just black, because like I said, there's only been 11 black TV shows in Britain, ever. Like, there's just not that much, and that's why people want stuff like a black James Bond, or just other characters becoming taken on by more inclusive.
Hang on a second, Jeanette, before you come in, we've got a new face at the table, so let me just quickly do we've got Harlan, we've got Douglas, we've got Ellen, we've got Chet, we've got Justin, we have got Anthony and Chris, I'm Mikey. We've got Wendy and Desiree over here and Margot. Just tell us your name, but it's a bit hot at the moment, so just get your name and then Joel, welcome. So Jeanette, you wanted to say something?
I was going to say, if we had a black female James Bond, it kind of ticks all the boxes, because we have a woman who's leading, and then if we have a black lady leading, then we've got the diversity element, which is also ticked. So I think it can only be good for women pushing to be at the front of, the food chain.
So you think it sets a good example?
Absolutely. Whichever way you look at it, there's no negative attached to it, but I think somebody might disagree.
Okay, Wendy.
I think, like most things, you have your token black person. That one black person. To make everybody think, it's all right. We've done something.
We're not racist. We've got a black James Bond.
We've got a black person in there. That one token black.
Okay. Joe, do you want to come in on this one? Go on. grab. What are you going to say?
Well, yeah, I can understand why people would want a black James Bond, but I've never been really a fan of redoing characters for the sake of it.
Yeah.
As much as I do want plenty of representation, but in my mind, I don't like the idea of getting the scraps of a character that's already been done.
Yeah.
I'd like for representation to come through, that it comes from a character that we made, not just like, oh, here you go, you can have him now.
It's got to be a more authentic.
Something that we can build up and use properly, and not just rehash your character, because then it's just your character, but now we're just appeased because it feels a little tokenistic. It don't feel proper.
Is it tokenist? Should there be a character merging from black culture? I'm going to come to you, Margot. Wendy, you want to say something? But
I'm bubbling.
Okay, come on. Okay. All right, come on. Let's take advantage of that then.
We all need movies like Black Panther.
Yeah.
Just think of how that made all the black people feel. It was a movie with just black people. You had villains and you had good people. And everybody was just over the moon because it was people like us on the screen. Only us. Only our color on the screen.
Yeah.
So we really don't need the one token black, like the milk in the coffee, a little drop of milk in the coffee, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
don't like a drop of coffee in the milk.
Well, a drop of coffee in the milk. We really don't need that to make us feel we're up there.
Yeah.
We need more Black Panthers.
Okay, more Black Panthers. I wish I had my sound effects because I do my meow sound effect now. But Jeanette, you come in. I'm gonna. Yeah.
Tokenistic point of view is better than nothing. I know people don't want to be the black token, but that is what opens the gate, right?
Yeah.
It's like having board members and having only male board members. It might mean having a one female as a token, but it's the token that opens the gate. So Black Panther could be argued as the token black film, but again, it's opened the doors.
No, but it was not a token black film. It was a total
But
black
I think what Jeanette is saying is you start off with the one token and then you gradually open the door and it starts to change. There's a point from Chet, because you've not said anything yet, and then I'm going to jump out and we're going to have Ellen go back in the middle. I'm going to get my lunch. So Chet, go on.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm Chet. I work for Peabody, and I'm going to have a little plug at the end. But the key thing is, I'd like to open the discussion because we've been talking a lot about the historic oppression and continued oppression of people of color in this country and by this country. I don't tend to talk about colonialism. I tend to talk about occupation because it's not colonialism. Many of our nations were occupied, our home countries. But what I want to talk to you about or expand it about is our role in the future oppression. Because we know with climate change that our children are going to pay for our costs, the cost of our profligacy. And we can say that Elon Musk or the Queen has got more pollution on her conscience than we have in our own small ways. But we are in this country and we cause an awful lot more pollution than people in Africa. So we have a role in creating climate change, and it is our countries. I come from Malaysia, and my catastrophe is that all my cousins flock into IKEA store in Kuala Lumpur, which will be the coldest place in a heat wave, and then the air conditioning with 10,000 people in it goes down. And you can say that for anywhere else in the tropics, and people will die. What is our role and what are we going to do about it?
That's a really interesting thing to link it with climate change, because in a way you've got the same sort of dynamic going on where you've got the, all the for want of a better word, the post-colonialists actually telling the rest of the world what to do, but actually the global south is the one that's suffering from this. How does this relate to questions like big global questions like climate change? We've got a new face over here. Tell us your name quickly. Austin. I'm actually just going to retire from this this conversation. We're going to have Ellen coming back in. But I mean, it's got very hot here. We've been talking about racism, people's everyday experience of racism. It's kind of up to you where you want to go. Do you want to go to this kind of global question about climate change and about the situation of the future? I think you want to talk about, or do you want to talk more about the politics of race? It's up to you where you want to take it. I'm going to jump out and let's keep it warm for Ellen. I'm just going to swap this over, turn this down. So someone, Jeanette, do you want to just take over?
In regards to the climate change, I feel like mere mortals, we have no influence in really making real changes. So it's up to the government to impose sanctions on manufacturers and say, from now on, we're not producing bottled water anymore. Therefore, this is the way forward. I feel like, yes, I can do my bit in society to make sure that I'm buying more sustainable, but I can only buy sustainable if those are the options that are available. So I think with climate change, I think that the push has to come from the top down rather than us trying to push it up and we can make our own differences, yes, but I don't think we can make a big impact.
Right, so that you're saying the push has to come from the top down then, basically.
Absolutely.
But you did mention that you're making some small changes. What are those small changes that you're making?
So for me, what I do in my house is I've got compost. So all my food waste goes back into my garden. So I try and make sure that during the week we only have one black bag that we keep it out.
Right.
So we're just really being conscious and being intentional about the things that we're using in our house. But I can only make those choices if I go to the supermarket and I don't have the option to buy a plastic bag.
Right. Okay, I'm going to grab your point, but let me get a final...
Margaret dropped me into it. I thought today was a very productive discussion on climate change, self-care, it was pedicure, manicure, showers and stuff. I think it was a good open discussion, so I enjoyed it. So it was nice to sort of do more open air things that we can drop in and have discussion and see what's in the area and what's going on.
Oh, great. Well,
views.
Thank you for joining us, and do check out our website, The People Speak, to find out when our next session will be. What's your name, by the way?
My name is Joe.
Joe. So I know you got to see it.
Right. But well, the thing about climate change is, on top of us doing our everyday part, we also kind of sleep on it because it's not in front of our faces. We're not dealing with the brunt of it yet, so we're not really taking it serious as how it's going to affect like the youth, the next generation. But on top of that, we've been knowing about these things like borderline since the 80s. There've been reports and people have been making concerns, but the governments have been allowing it, and the companies that make all the petrol and make all these unreusable plastics have been allowing it. And here's the thing: there are consistent ways to actually tame the climate problem. There's fibers that we can make into new forms similar to plastic that can be recycled and not just be one and done.
So tell me, what things are you doing to make some changes when it comes to the climate issue? Is there anything that you're doing?
I do like as much as I can, but at the end of the day, I'm only one person. There's a finite amount that I can influence.
Right. Because you're just one person.
What I found out about the hypocrisy around all this plastic stuff is that they talk about trying to stop us using the plastics. But they are still making more of it and asking shops to charge us money for it.
Right. So you're saying
you either stop it entirely or you don't.
Right, okay then. I mean, can we stop the production of plastic entirely?
Of course, it could be stopped if they want to.
Right, if they want to. Okay. Let me grab your point and then I'll come to you.
I just wanted to agree with what that gentleman said of going, instead of a weird PR stunt happened where we were asked to stop using plastics, but instead we extended the profit that the companies had. Instead of giving away the plastic for free, which they shouldn't do, which we shouldn't do, they instead made lots of money from it.
Yeah.
And there's still plastic being made. And
right.
they feel better about themselves, apparently. We feel better. We could use other products. And like you said, and what this madam said about the government above.
Yeah.
They, in theory, are the lawmakers. They tell us what to do, even though we don't want them to sometimes. That's something else.
Yeah.
But it's the idea, if they lead the way, because they actually have the power, they control the laws, the police, everything you see around, building codes for buildings, shopping codes, things like,
They're the ones who are really empowered to really,
well, not just really empowered, they actually have the power.
Well, they have
we are the ones
power.
that can be empowered, but they are the ones that
power.
actually have, we vote them into existence.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they only look after their interests to get the votes. They will say whatever they need to say to get us to vote for them, because if we don't vote for them, then they will have no power.
Right, so
there's a literalness of like the people running the governments say, I would like, obviously, as a white male, I can't speak for other people, but men, women, black, whites, they have to have the power to do something about it. They need us to vote for them.
Right. So they want our votes, but are they actually making the changes that are going to benefit the future? I'm going to come to you, but we got a new face at the table. What's your name? Sheila. Sheila, yeah. Great. Is it Jeanette? Jeanette. I know you had a point there.
I was just very excited when Joel spoke and said, in terms of the plastic, if we went to the supermarket and there was no bags, we will have to figure it out, right? We will make sure that we are taking the stuff in our trolley and going and figuring it out.
Yeah.
But they made a profit, like you said, so therefore, if you're really stuck, you pay for it. But if there was no option, in America, they don't do plastic bags. So why on earth is England still
It's the same thing in America. I've just come back from where you can still buy a bag. They offer paper as a side. The same thing if you had to bring bags. If you one time you go to the supermarket and you don't have a bag and you had to, you'd learn your lesson as being and you'd bring a bag. You'd bring a box,
so
maybe you'd do something.
If they got rid of all the plastic bags, we'd have to just make it work. It will be a lesson. So you're saying decades ago. Right.
For the arrival of plastic bags.
Decades ago.
It's simple.
What's your name, by the way? Chin, yeah? Chin. Chet. Chin. Chit. I'm going to grab Chit's point and then I'm going to come to you.
I just wanted to do a little plug for energy advice, energy saving advice for Peabody residents. This is something that people can do to reduce their impact on the environment and save money. Just give us a call, look on our website for energy saving advice.
Is there an issue about energy? Is there a reason why people should be worried about energy right now? Or
Gas prices going up.
Gas prices going up? Okay.
Yes.
Everything going up. What's your name? It's Joel, that's it, yep.
That's
it's been skirted to the side, because this is not like common knowledge, but there is we've known this since the 1960s, that if woven correctly, that you can turn like hemp into a fiber like plastic, and when it's used, you can also turn it back into a reusable soil. So there's a whole bunch of ways that we can combat the climate crisis. But obviously, if you tell someone destroy your house that you built and rebuild it a new one, people just pay you to be quiet about how your house is bad for the neighborhood. So it's not in many companies' incentives to change the whole dynamic.
So you're saying this whole being concerned about the environment, it's not a new concept, it's been around for decades, but there's just not really any incentive for businesses to care.
Or what changes need to happen on a bigger scale, they just don't have money to do it, or they're not connected, because we're always just too busy. We are just made to focus on things like different fads and fashions, and you need to get to work. I think work, like a lot of people's lives just revolve around work. And with that, you've got very little time. So then you kind of use a lot of single-use plastic. So that's just never going to stop. How people are going to stop using that? Or, you know, having children, dropping them off at school, or because, you know, there are pedophiles around, you have to be careful, you know, like... It's just like, it's just not going to happen.
So are you saying that people just don't have enough time or money to really make changes when it comes to reducing the amount of energy they use, or reducing the amount of plastics and things like that? Jeanette?
Look, people have time. They just have to make law. Stop making plastic. Back to paper. Simple.
Right, it's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. We'll go back to using paper. I'm going to grab up the point from Jeanette on this side.
The reason why I come back to the fact that the government has the power is, if we look at social housing, for example, when new developers are developing, they have to develop a certain percentage for social housing, right? And that is enforced by the government. Equally, the government can say, if you're a new developer and you're developing properties, you have to make sure that you have solar panels on top of it, so sustainable energy. So the government have the power to implement sanctions and implement ways that will help us to meet our climate changes. And we can't do it. Like Margot said, in terms of people are busy, parents are grabbing the most convenient way of feeding their children. They're not thinking about, if I pick all the salad pieces, I can make my salad. They just want a already-made salad to feed the children and done.
So are people really that short of time? How can we hold the government? Do we need to hold the government more accountable?
Oh, yes.
You know, I'll grab your point.
You know, it's also not just this, but it's also how we, you know, go about. It's how we go about, you know, incentivizing other countries to do so. Like, I can't remember her name, but there's a woman in Kenya who uses recycled plastic, woven it together with sand, and makes a surface stronger than concrete.
Wow.
We could be building our roads with this. We could be building more houses with this. But there's no incentivization to be doing that, because you know, there's already great moguls who have a lot of money behind the already established uses and measures. So on top, because you know, like people have been saying, we've got 9 to 5s, we've got children, we've got other things to be looking after. We should be making sure, we can't always be making sure that our government is like looking at these new inventive ways to combat the crisis. You know, there's other people in other parts of the world doing mad things to combat it, but we're not inviting it over, because the already established moguls who have the money to nudge into your minister's ear or the member of parliament's ear and say, yeah, don't worry about that, keep up with this. You know, it's too great. How far to the, you know, the elected officials are actually held accountable and saying we're doing this and that, because they have a better incentive to turn a blind eye.
So we could actually be using some of the models that already exist when it comes to sustainability, but no one's reaching out to them, you know, because there's no profit to be made. Is this true? Let's get a final thought from you, Chris, before you leave us. Any final thoughts?
Okay. I'm happy to be here this afternoon, and what we've discussed today, many of them will not be implemented on. But if something can be started from somewhere, gradually maybe we'll be lucky to get somewhere, because we just say it now. Those in power, they don't care about what we are saying. They just do what they have to do. But whatever it is, we'll say what we have to say, and we'll leave everything to God.
So leave everything to God. Okay.
Yes,
okay. Well, thank you for your time, and you know, let us know how everything goes.
But unfortunately, they don't believe in God anyway.
Right. I mean, is that what we have to do? Leave things to God? Is that what we have to do? Helen, I'll grab your point, and then I'll come to you, Chip. But I'll grab your point. Oh, Sheila. Sorry, Sheila.
Yes, it's true. They don't believe in God. Yeah.
Oh, if you're talking to the microphone now.
Hold on.
Use both.
I don't know. Okay. You can't say leave it all to God. You've got to take responsibility for your own actions. If you go online now, there's a company.
Help me out now.
Reusable bags, lilos, and all that. I mean, we have solar panels around now. but they're not for us. The power goes to somebody else.
So what do you mean? Where do you
If you go to, I live in the Masonets. If you look around the front, this side, there's solar panels. We don't benefit from those solar panels. Somebody else does.
Who benefits from the solar panels, from the energy?
They said somebody else does, but it doesn't. We don't get nothing of it.
Right, I see.
Nothing at all.
Wow, so that doesn't seem to make sense that there's solar panels on your building.
All the upheave for them scaffolding up for months and months and putting it up, bits, God knows what in the back garden, and then we get told that we're not going to get nothing out of it.
So solar panels, they do exist in the area. People are trying to do things which are more sustainable, but who's benefiting from these changes when it comes to the money side of thing? I'm going to grab your point sheet and then I'm going to come to you.
Thanks for this. I've got to go, and apologies for leaving, but I'm a little bit sad that people are saying it's somebody else's problem, it's somebody else who's got the lead. I think we've all got to channel our inner Greta Thunberg, speak out, because it's our children's future that we're talking about. We have stolen the future from our children, and we need to take responsibility for it, and we can't say it's somebody's responsibility.
So what can people do to take more control? What can people do to take more responsibility of the situation? What things are you doing to kind of take more responsibility for the issues that we have at hand when it comes to the climate, energy?
Well, I am channeling my inner Greta Thunberg as much as I can. I can't tell you what I'm doing now because I'm also doing it here on Peabody time.
Right.
But Peabody is trying to help with giving energy advice, doing a little bit of solar panels here, not as much as I'd like, and we're also putting together eco champions working to support eco champions on our estates to find out what we can do. So if you want to tell us what you can do or we can do on the estates to make our estates greener, tell me.
I mean, what's an eco champion? Maybe you can break it down for us. What would be expected from them?
Well, if you've got an idea of how to make if you're living in a Peabody estate and you've got ideas of how to make your estate greener, use less energy to help your other residents on the estate save on energy, we will see whether we can work with you to do that, and we need to learn from what our residents think they can do and how we can help them.
So you're saying there needs to be a conversation between residents and Peabody. Joel?
I do wholeheartedly agree with you, but at the end of the day, it's not just us as individuals changing the estates, changing the block, changing the borough. Is obviously we all need to do our part. We all need to stiff our back up and move a little. But we have to understand we don't have that kind of punching power. There's the whole companies funding climate denial and all sorts and doing much things that 10, 20, 100, 2,000 of us can't do in a day or in all of our lifetimes. They'd be doing month after month, week after week. So as much as we can talk, obviously write to your minister, obviously talk about building restrictions, obviously go through on all the more eco-friendly stuff, we have to put in the pressure purely on these companies, because
we got to hold these companies accountable. We got a new face at the table. What's your name? Valda. Welcome, Valda. We're talking about the environment. We're talking about climate change. What things can we do to, make the world a better place for our future? Is it the government's responsibility, or do we need to take more responsibility?
We can't blame the government. But if we don't do anything ourselves, then it's going to stay the same.
I mean, what things can we do?
I mean, like you said, we can't do nothing. Well, we can. If there's so much going on, if you're willing to stand together, you can get things done. We do. I'm the chairperson of the steering group. I'm a tenant here. And we organise Christmas fairs, Christmas dinners, summer fetes, trips, everything. because, and I don't work for people.
Right.
You can.
So you're saying as a community.
As a community, that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you're a community, right, if you get the community back, you can do anything.
What about when it comes to the environment? You know, I mean, I know you guys got solar panels on your building,
yeah, but I recycle. Everyone is delivered recycling bags. Everybody.
Right. Okay then.
About 4 rows of them. The bags for the food beans. Everyone is offered all these things.
Yeah.
A lot of people choose not to do it.
So some people maybe choose not to sort of take up opportunities where they can actually help.
The opportunity is there, but not everyone can be bothered.
Not everyone can be bothered. Let me get a point from yourself.
I just want to pick up on what you just said is vote, get involved, write letters to you. I think if communities do have the power, as being people do run society, because they are society. Governments are made up of people from society. It's a sort of direct relationship. Government aren't different people, they are the people. If you don't like the society you're in, you know, if you feel as if you can't change it, every opportunity there is someone to vote someone in, vote who you want to be in. If you don't like those people, represent yourself. If you don't like capitalism, change it. We have a democracy here, which a lot of other countries in the world do not actually have. We have an ability here to make change if we want to. I'm not saying we could disagree in our change. We could disagree on lots of fun. There's a beauty in that, and unfortunately a frustration too.
So you're saying there's things we can do. We can.
Oh, there's definitely things you can
letters,
do.
You know,
but every opportunity you have, if you can write an email. It's in today's society, make it so easy to contact whoever it is that you want to contact. If you don't like certain things, like places you live.
Have you done
streets.
this before? Have you contacted the government?
I vote
before?
every time I can, and if there's a problem, like I say, with plastic bags or local issues to do with, all sorts of issues. Transport, safety. I mean, when it comes to families, food, allowing independent business. Also, and/or I know towns and cities that I'm lucky enough to live and/or worked across North America and here. There's towns in America that have blocked McDonald's or Starbucks from moving into their towns because the town has said we don't want them here. And they've blocked them. Corporations can't just move in and do what they want if the people take a stand. And as much as it sort of might be annoying to vote, because and I say this because some countries have forced vote where everyone has to vote. They have to get involved in democracy.
So you're saying
whatever your opinion is.
So let's get a final thought from you. Are you leaving us or hello, one moment. Are you leaving us or?
Yes, I'm leaving you, sir.
Let's get final thought.
What?
Let's get a final thought from you before you leave us.
I hope everything's be all right with everybody, and we should love each other, no matter what. Yeah.
I have to say, a lot of people have been leaving words of love around the table. You know,
that's peace and love, man, to each and everybody.
Right. Will peace and love, save the future? Will peace and love help the environment? Jeanette, I know you had your hand up there. See you soon. Thank you for joining us.
Just to clarify, with the climate change, I think that there's 2 strands. One, that you can do as a personal, individual, things you can do on the ground, like you said, contacting your MP, utilising the recycling bans, and doing what I do personally, making sure that I'm being mindful about my wastage and all of that. But I'm more about what needs to be done from the top. And so when I'm talking, I'm thinking about the bigger impact, because what I do, I see as a small drop in the ocean. So I'm thinking about what governments can do to make the real changes. So for example, I saw a CNN news segment where they were talking about fast fashion, right? Back in all those developing countries, they don't have access to fast fashion. We have, in the developed world, we're getting people to shop from Primark all day long, and what happens is people then ship them all back to Africa, and the level of stuff that's coming back to Africa, they can't get rid of it. So what happens is it ends up on their beaches and in the sea. So we are causing the problem. So that's why I say that the government really have the ability to make the bigger impact. So either tax more people or stop making plastic bags, stop making plastic bottles, stop all the fast fashion, and then hopefully.
So basically they need to slow down the fast fashion, so a lot of the excesses are being sent to other countries where they can't dispose of it. Are you leaving?
Yeah.
Let's get a final thought from you before you go.
On climate change.
On anything we've spoken about today. We've spoken about quite a lot since you've been sitting here. So any final thoughts about absolutely anything?
I guess just don't, like, as people, like right now, we're getting to a point where, because there's so much information going around, there's a lot of polarization of groups. Like people get into their own, group, and they polarize everyone. If you're left wing, the right wings, they're all racist. Yeah. If you're right wing, the left wing, they're all idiots. They're all, disillusioned. I feel like people just need to try as hard as they can sometimes to just look at every view. The ones that are opposing yours, the ones that you feel strongly about. Question why you feel strongly about your own views, and just try and be a bit more objective. It's not very easy. It's going to be difficult. Like the views that are very much what you don't agree with, they will teach you a lot, and it's going to be difficult to just look at it as just an opinion, but it's helpful.
Have you done this recently?
Yeah, I feel like I would do. Oh, this?
This. Okay.
Wait.
Any views you heard today that made you challenge your thoughts?
Not really. I feel like I challenge my own thoughts a lot. It's a lot.
Right.
I feel like I've been forced to by circumstance and other things.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us. And do check out our website to find out when our next session will be. Do you have a final thought as well?
I owe all my knowledge to this man and his partner. Anyway.
Perfect. Thank you for coming. Good. Come and join us. Come and take a seat. We're talking about climate change. We're talking about... let's get a final thought from you before you leave us as well.
I actually have a final thought. I just think it's heated and I want to say
in the mic.
It's been amazing, and I wish I came earlier to hear everything. And there's so much I want to say and hear from everyone, but I'm on Peabody's time, so I have to go back
you're
to the
working
office.
for Peabody. Where is the office?
Just around there.
Oh, right. Okay, so it's very local. Thank you for joining us, and see you again soon. See you in... another final thought?
Just want to agree with that guy. Ray said it very well.
Seconded that.
Trying to be as open as possible, because agreeing with everyone's almost impossible. Digesting everything in the world is, I'll say, near on impossible, but he said it very well. And trying to appreciate and love, not to necessarily always leave on love, but trying your very hardest to even if people disagree with you, or whether it's religious, political, or identity reasons, we live in a pretty amazing society. But it's very hard sometimes.
So you're saying overall we live in an amazing society. It is challenging, but things are positive in general.
And thank you guys for setting this up.
Great. Well, thank you for joining us, and do check our website to find out when our next session is.
Next session's tomorrow
in Poplar.
6:30.
All right. We got some new faces at the table actually. What's your name?
My name's Darius.
Darius. Let's do a round names. We've got Darius. We've got Helen. Sharon. We've got Sheila. Oh, I'm so sorry, Sheila.
A mixture of Helen and Sheila.
Yeah. So we've got Leon, Joe. It's the sun. It's so Disney. Are you joining us? Take a seat. Give us 2 minutes of your time. Valda. We got Margot. We got Justin. We got Marion. We got Sharon, of course. And what's your name? Meg with a G at the end there. We got Mikey, we got Rick on camera, and this is Talkaoke. It's a pop-up talk show. It's a free-form talk show. You can talk about absolutely anything. Maybe I'll do a quick little recap actually. You just caught us there talking about the climate and what things can we do to protect our future. Are we actually making things worse for our people in other countries? Do we consume too much fast fashion, and how is this going to benefit the world today and the world in the future? Earlier we spoke about self-care. We spoke about going to spas. Everyone should go to a spa, not just on your birthday. What about manicures and pedicures? Is it just a feminine thing, or can men get manicures and pedicures cures too? We also spoke about church and alcohol. Can you mix the two? Can you mix church and alcohol together? Apparently there's a church around the corner that has a brewery at the back of it, but also apparently monks used to make alcohol anyway. So as you can see, we've been on a bit of a journey, but it's up to you where you want to take the conversation. Do you want to continue talking about climate change? Do you want to talk about how we can protect the future? What things can we do today to protect the future? Do you want to talk about fast fashion? Joe?
I'm curious about the church and alcohol.
You said John's brewery, and the church church don't actually make the beer.
Yeah.
It's on the land.
Okay.
There's breweries everywhere around it. You know, there's 5 Points used to be over there. They're now down Mare Street. St John's, the land, that's where the church is over there. Over there. Tap room. They're everywhere now.
Yeah, so they're everywhere now. You're saying.
Hackney's got so many different breweries in it.
Yeah. So you're saying it's just on the land where the church is. It's not.
The church don't actually make it.
The church don't actually make it. Have you tried this brewery? This local, you know?
My son has. He works in one of the pubs around here.
Okay.
He knows what breweries are what.
You know what? Earlier we were actually talking about local. You know, what is a local pub, a local cafe, a local shop? How does it become a local? You know? So is that your local?
Yeah, that pub has been there since the beginning of time. It's been everything from...
talk into the microphone there.
It's been everything from a strip club to a bikers club. Then it was a new age club. And it's been everything. Then there was a fire. It burnt down.
Yeah.
The guy it used to be a boxing ring upstairs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It used to be a boxing ring, and then there was a big fire.
Wow.
And then another company bought it over, gutted it to what it is now. And it's 5 Points.
Wow,
It's a lovely pub. Food is lovely, I know that.
So is that, would you consider that you're local?
Yeah.
Yeah? Justin, who was sitting around the table before, he was saying, you know, in order for something to become your local, you got to introduce yourself to the people who work there. You've got to, hey, welcome. You've got to you've got to frequent the place enough so that the actual people who work there can recognise you.
They do.
Do they know you? Yeah.
My son works there.
All right, so that's your quick way in.
I recognise yourself.
I hope he gives you free drinks
He wears
as well.
shorts.
I hope he gives you free drinks.
Short boy.
I can see the resemblance.
Okay, so is
So,
right, wow.
He wears
wow.
shorts all the time.
Wow.
He goes, he always wears shorts all year round.
Yeah. Oh wow. So anyone could recognise him. So is the Pembury Tavern a few people's locals? Is it your local?
Yeah, I live on the road. It's my local pub.
How did it become your local?
I moved into the area.
Yeah.
Well, no, people come from other areas to drink there.
Yeah.
They come from sort of South London. And when they reopened after they'd done all the work, the queues for that pub were around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
People come, they get the train down.
Wow.
Because it sells all different ales.
But you know what? Like, we were saying, we were talking about the importance of having a local in your area, and one of the things that signifies a local is whether or not the bartenders recognise you or they know your drink. Do they recognise you? Do they know your drink?
Like the Pembury Tavern's the closest pub to where I live, but I play football down the road near Hackney Central.
Yeah.
And we've been drinking at the Ship. We've been drinking there for like 5 or 6 years. So we.
Oh yeah, I used to work there actually.
It's really nice.
5 or 6 years. Oh
We've
yeah.
been going there twice a week, so we know the staff there very well.
I probably saw you there.
Probably.
You don't drink, you don't smoke.
But I still go in and have a shandy or orange juice. I don't. But
you don't drink out of plastic bottles.
I make myself with crystal.
Oh, so you make your own bottles? Did you say out of crystal and flint? Why is that then? Why?
Because
it's better.
It's like clean your immune system.
Yeah, so it's good for your immune system.
And I'm healthy.
Yeah.
I never wear the mask.
So you never did wear the mask. Yeah, so I mean, have you never drank out of plastic bottles before?
No, I don't drink 3 years now.
So 3 years. And how did you discover this? Drinking out of a crystal.
I read the book.
You read about it.
Listen, because I don't watch TV 6 years. Even I don't have TV. I think myself. I know watching the government.
Yeah. So you're saying that, you kind of just go with your own thoughts, really. Okay.
I listen myself.
You listen to yourself. You listen to your own thoughts.
Yes.
We did have someone around the table earlier saying that it's important to always challenge your own thoughts. Do you do that sometimes? Do you question your own thoughts and listen to other opinions as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a point there?
No, I was just sort of amazed that you make your. So you're drinking out of crystal, or you have a. I'm confused. You've got like a crystal cup that you drink from?
It's white crystal.
It's a white crystal.
I
jar. Yeah. I put the jar.
Hey. I did.
I bet it does as well.
And even I sing in the water. You sing to the water?
Eh?
And bless.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh, you are
From my
pure.
heart, that bad.
So
Wow.
why do you sing to the water?
Because it changed the structure.
Oh wow! So singing changes the water. You know, around the table we were talking about
Yes,
gongs.
people say I'm crazy.
No.
Yeah.
You're just doing wicker up. That what the witches did all years ago. That's what I practice. A lot of the.
Yeah.
It's so much better. I make my own bath salts, my own bubble baths.
Yeah.
All that, and you find.
I cook soup. I
Yeah.
coffee, tea. My son.
So you make your own food as well, but you're saying actually this is nothing new. This is something that you've done before.
Yeah, people have been doing it since the beginning of time.
Right.
But people have forgot or they got lazy.
Yes.
People, so
yes.
They got lazy.
So do you think people kind of got lazy? That's why people don't sink to the water anymore. People don't.
Do it. I mean, it's easier for them to reach for something instead
Right. Instead of okay, that's interesting.
Even I make my vinegar and kombucha.
Oh,
and
nice.
I
Yum.
cook myself. I make bread.
Yeah. So you basically you sort of create things yourself, you know,
Yes.
from
I don't like it from
the water you drink from. I want to grab a point from this side. We got Mikey over here.
Come to the point about what not having a TV, because I haven't had a TV for about 17 years, and I think it's I don't think TV's a very healthy thing to have. Talking about this idea of having your own views and opinions, and also it's a point that, is it Joe or Joel?
Joel.
Well, Joel was saying about the media and you know, I think if you don't have a TV, you have a bit more of an open sense of what you listen to and your influences. So I think it's a very actually today is all about health, and I think the healthiest thing you can do is not have a TV.
Right, but
Do you still watch shows though? Like you're still watching shows, right?
No.
Like you don't stream on your laptop or
No,
anything?
I occasionally watch a film on Mubi.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of YouTube videos about physics.
Oh right, okay. But what is a TV? But what is it? Is YouTube a TV? You know, what is a TV these days? Do you have a physical television?
Oh yeah. I love to watch TV. It's really great use of my time. It's one of my favorite things to do.
What kind of things do you watch on television?
I really like to watch RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh, I like
RuPaul's Drag
Yeah,
Race,
it's
yeah.
great.
Leon. Oh, sorry, Joel. So I do apologise.
It's all right. But I did want to comment on that. You like not having a TV and not you're not watching traditional shows and all of that, because there is like, if you watch a program, especially if it's fictional or even the news, it has an imprint that it lays on your mind. Like even like last year when all the like protests were going along around the planet, right? Something Americans did notice about their perception of police was that all the portrayals of their police was positive in the media, and that came from a tradition of the police having a say of how they were represented legally. So they called it propaganda because they were for a majority of the 20th century legally required to present it in
the police in a positive
light.
Oh wow, that's
so you know, that's a very good thing, like being skeptical of what you intake. And even then, even if you are just like watching like YouTube or just the occasional film or whatever, like, you know, the writers, the content creators, they all have the I think like this, and that has a whole string of you know reasons why people think in a certain way. And while I do think it's impossible to challenge your own thoughts, even your subconscious thoughts have a pattern of why they, you know, why you think the way you do. We're all in a sense we've been, you know, film and television has only been around for less than 100 years. The format, the blueprint of what we're doing has been slowly edging us towards to think in a certain manner.
Right, so you're saying that there's a bigger agenda at hand to make everyone sort of think a certain way. You're nodding your head there?
That's a really good point. You're touching on issues about the propaganda in the media, and what we see is a lot of blatant propaganda with regards to how stories are framed. But there's also, it's a lot subtler. I think this country is one of the most propagandized nations on the planet, because we have the British Broadcasting Corporation, which, you know, lots of people, they'll comment and they'll point the finger at other state propaganda channels like Russia Today or Press TV or whatever, and not realise the fact that BBC is a mouthpiece for the British government, and that is what that means is that they promote the interests of the British state. So they don't report fairly on issues, and there's a very famous book by Noam Chomsky called Manufacturing Consent, which details this in great detail. And because it's hard to spot propaganda, because it's actually the stories that they choose not to report on. It's the framing of stories they do report on. So a good example, what we saw recently, was when the American troops pulled out of Afghanistan. They dropped a bomb and they killed like 30 innocent civilians, but 11 US Marines were killed in a terrorist attack. But they only reported on the Marines. They said, oh, American troops withdraw from Afghanistan, 12 Marines die. But they didn't report on the 30 innocent civilians, and including 12 children that were also killed. So that's the framing of the story to benefit the state narrative.
That's interesting. So
they've been doing that for years, though.
So they've been doing that for years. Can you think of any other times when you feel that? Ireland.
I'm Irish. My parents are Irish. I grew up with people calling us all the names under the sun. You're murdering this, you're murdering that. That's because the news has put this out and that out. They don't know what's going on. They want to live in Ireland.
Right.
They want to go when they had no food there. Where was anyone?
Yeah. So you're saying the same thing kind of happened with Ireland, where maybe Irish people are framed
as all
in a certain way as all murderers.
Yeah, and we're not.
Yeah.
Just because you have a certain people did that doesn't mean we're all the same.
So
Britain is a colonising force. Why are the English in Ireland for hundreds and hundreds of years? Why did they butcher the Irish people and treat them so badly and line them up and kill them in the streets? And then when people fight back, they're called terrorists. And this happens time and time and time again. But we have to challenge the powerful nations, and Britain is the coloniser. So when Britain invades other countries and other people fight back, we have to recognise it, that, you know, from that perspective, not just, oh, these brown people are terrorists. Well, why are they choosing to attack the British imperialist state?
Yeah. So you're saying that people need to question the frame with which, you know, things are viewed. Joel, I'm going to grab your point and then I'll come to you, Mikey.
Yeah. I do feel like that is interesting because, one, the media portrays someone, and even if you do consider yourself a person who challenges your own thoughts, every 2 seconds you've got to be like, wait, why do I think this, why do I think that? But the true, something I do want to prop up is how are we going to get our news sources? Because, you know, there's, no matter where you go, there's not really something as an unbiased news channel. Everyone has an agenda they want to push. Everyone has an idea they want to get across, and they'll underscore it with the most politest words, but they want you to conjure up a feeling and emotion to make you think about this about a certain way or certain.
So then, how do you view? Where do you get your information from? How do you view things happening in society? Where do you view these things? The BBC, YouTube, where do you get your news stories from, should I say?
I Google things like 12 different times about the same subject, and even then I read different stories. That's the thing, because they all have a way how they want to present what's happening, and cherry pick information, and, you know, withhold information in certain manners.
Mikey?
I just want to concur with Joel, because I don't think you can get this independent kind of objective view of what's going on in the world, but the idea that you just take that at face value and don't, you know, I think every time we read a news story we should do a bit of research and find out what's actually going on, you know, like, okay, the Taliban are taking over Afghanistan. Who are the Taliban? What are their views? What are they fighting for?
Assume.
But you know, the picture we get is the Taliban are these. I mean, I don't agree at all with the Taliban's views, but you know, they do, and they're passionately willing to risk their lives to put that forward. So that's come from somewhere, but we don't even bother to find out what their story is, what their history is.
Why are they so passionate? I mean, I am getting the vibe here that quite a lot of people don't watch the mainstream news. Let's get a final thought from you before you leave us.
Okay. It was nice to do this. Really, thanks for having me. I think that with the views on media and everybody having a a sort of propaganda or just expressing their viewpoint. I don't think it always is malicious. People have their viewpoints and then they try to make a point. It's not always everybody trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say, but it was great. I wish I could stay for longer. The sun's shining. But
oh yeah, thank you for joining us, and see you soon. So I mean, I was saying, I'm going to grab your point, but it seems to me like quite a lot of people aren't really into the mainstream news, or getting their information from places like the BBC.
I don't know how to say about words, about people. We don't have to look about words. We have to look about yourself.
So we need to focus less on war, on the world.
Because we what they happen, everything to these people. No, all war.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So focus on yourself.
Yes, we have to look after yourself.
Yeah.
Eating good, breathing, meditation.
Yeah.
And happy.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. To be honest, the word love has been brought up quite a lot around this table today.
And everything be good.
Yeah. And you've noticed, have you always been thinking this way?
I'm all my life positive.
Yeah.
All my life.
All your life.
I have bad things, I'm always see the good.
Right. I mean, how do you manage to view the world so positive?
I don't know, just coming.
Pardon?
Just coming.
It just happens to you.
Yes.
It just happens to you. Join us? Do you view the world in general in a positive way? How do you view the world in this way? If you don't, I'm gonna grab your point and then I'll come to you, Mikey.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that lady. It is important to try and focus on the things that we can control, and if that means trying to have a more positive outlook, focus on self care, and try and find the truth within you, then sure. But I think that has its limits, because the world is facing more problems now than ever before. We have and this is a lot of it's caused by this rampant consumerist society.
Yeah.
I think we're in a post-capitalist society.
What does that mean, post-capitalist?
Well, it means we're seeing the breakdown of the capitalist system. I think the generation before reaped all the benefits with massively inflated property prices, and higher wages were increasing, and now it's just been stagnant for the last 15-20 years. The new generation isn't really seeing any of this benefits of so-called free market capitalism. So we need to try and challenge that, and it's all very well with trying to promote positive thinking, positive thoughts, but when people can't afford to put food on their table, when you've got food banks out of control, and you've got environmental destruction everywhere you look, just having positive thoughts I think isn't enough. We need to try and find solutions to change the system.
So being positive is great, but there needs to be practical steps to try and change the system that is actually making a lot of people's lives quite difficult. We're moving into the final thought section now, so I'm going to grab your thought, Mikey, and then I'm going to come to you, Margot.
No, this can be my final thought as well. I mean, I think you can only really come up with solutions and be creative if you're in a positive mindset. So two things have to come together. You have to believe that you can change. We talked a lot about who's going to do something about climate change. Is it the individual, is it the government? But you've got to believe in the possibility of change. You've got to believe that human beings can solve problems and they can do better in order to get anywhere. So I think you do need to be positive and think about others and think about the political thing going on. I think where we've had the lockdown and COVID and people have kind of stepped away from the rat race, it's actually given people a bit more of a chance to reflect and actually think, do I need all the things that the capitalist society offers me?
Yeah. So the party has actually gave people time to pause and reflect, but you do need a balance of positivity plus action. I'm going to grab your final. Let's get around the final thoughts. Justin, any final thoughts from you?
Just based on what you were saying, Sheila, tonight, for one night only, whilst I'm here in Hackney, the Pembury is my local.
Hey!
Make it your permanent watch. The staff think they're good, and the fruits. I do say try the pizzas.
Pizzas.
No, Pembury pizzas. They are pizzas.
No, that's one. It's one of their pizzas. It's called Papa
Yeah, I know.
John's.
I like their salon. I like their vegan ones.
Yeah, there's a
Lovely.
I don't think he lives in the pub, he's always there.
I think he lives in the cupboard. I think he lives in the cupboard.
Yeah. Nice. I'm loving that. A new local for yourself, Justin.
They have quiz night there on a Monday.
Oh, nice. What night is it? Is it Wednesday night? Yeah. Is it Thursday? Oh, it's Wednesday. Let's get a final thought from yourself, Margot.
My final thought is to implement positive thinking and the change of new political system. We would need a massive army.
Hey. And Vanda.
English
Perfect.
Vanda.
Vanda.
I'm from
Okay.
Poland. This was
Perfect. Vanda. Nice. I got it. Any final thoughts from yourself, Vanda?
Like first, we not change no one. We have to first change yourself.
So we must change ourselves before
Yes.
we can even change anyone
Nobody
else anyway.
change no one.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Thank you. I think that's very positive. Giving me positive vibrations. How about yourself, Joe?
I do wanna. Please. But I do wanna concur with everyone. It is about what you personally have the power to do, how you can mobilize your community, how you can look within inside yourself. It's how do I empathize with not seeing a person who looks like me on screen every other day and blah blah blah. How does it feel to have that kind of representation, and what I can do, if a bomb dropped near my house, what would I do, and blah blah blah. If you just empathize and actually realize what you can do for you, your world, your family, your loved ones, and extend it past that, I feel like everyone will be doing a lot of better things.
Yeah. So we can all be a bit more empathetic as well, and that will really help. Sheila, any final thoughts? Okay. Thank you for joining us, and do let us know when.
I'm going for self-defense.
Oh, you got a self-defense class. Whereabouts? Walthamstow. Okay. Oh, wow.
I'm sewing clothes.
Nice. Let us know how that all goes anyway. Yeah, lovely to meet you and see you again. Take care.
My final thoughts really is saying about the community. Pull our community together because we've lost it, and bring it all back. And there's so much there. We used to have a great community around here, and it just disappeared.
It just disappeared.
Can I just ask, what would be the first step to bring the community back? What can somebody?
Already started the step.
What step is that?
When the centre reopened, we started over 50s barbecue, bingo. Then we're doing the Christmas fair on the 8th of December.
Okay.
No, on the 4th of December, and on the 8th of December is the Christmas dinner for over 50s, and the company come in to supply the food, all the tables, we lay all the tables, everything's donated in different pieces, and it's lovely. Really lovely. There's a lot there, and I run a film club, so again for sort of over 50s, or anyone that wants to. And we have all the films, and you choose the film, and you sit there watching the film.
Nice.
Everyone together.
That sounds really nice, actually.
And on Mondays, we restarted the coffee afternoon.
Lovely.
We play board games.
I have to say that does sound quite nice, because earlier we were talking about where old, mature people can hang out. To put it,
I've got a lady that's 86 and she comes to bingo.
Yeah.
Then we've got a lady that's 44 and she comes. So we're dragging it in slowly.
Yeah, so it takes time. That sounds really great, Sheila. Thank you for joining us today. I want to get a final thought from yourself.
I'd like to say it was really nice to hear from Sheila about all of the different initiatives that she's making or taking to try and bring back the sense of community that's been lost from this area, because I think that's one of the big problems we're facing is a lack of community, and there's a lot of reasons why local communities have been, ripped out. And I don't think we can look to our political leaders to help us, because I think they're...
Oh yeah, Meg Hillier.
Yeah, okay, there's maybe there's a handful of goods. Yeah. I prefer Diane.
Oh, you preferred, okay,
great,
yeah. No, I hear that.
But I think that's really important though, is to take steps in the local community and don't look to our political leaders.
Right.
Because I think they have a different set of priorities.
Yeah.
But yeah, shop local, look after yourselves, try and get healthy, because all of the, for example, COVID, all of the misinformation out there.
Yeah.
One of the best things we can do to stay safe is to work on our own personal physical health.
Yeah.
So yeah, walk, get active, look after yourself, eat well, and look after your friends and neighbours.
Yeah. So actually start with your local community and then build from there as well. Any final thoughts from yourself?
I missed most of the conversation.
Or anything you want to share from your perspective of things? I know you've been around getting notes from people.
Noting around. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Yes.
No, I think it's been a great day and a good. Well, it's built that sense of connection that people want.
Yeah.
So I think
Oh, fantastic.
that'd be great.
Nice. Lovely. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today. I think it's been a great conversation. Check out our website, The People Speak, to find out when our next session will be. The People Speak. Join us at our next session. Yeah, The People Speak. So join us. You can check us out on Instagram, Twitter as well. So you got The People Tweets, The People Speak on Instagram, Twitter. Great. Look forward to seeing everyone again soon.